National Museum of Ethnology โดยศาสตราจารย์เกียรติคุณมาซาโตชิคุโบะศาสตราจารย์เกียรติคุณประจำพิพิธภัณฑ์ชาติพันธุ์แห่งชาติประเทศญี่ปุ่นศาสตราจารย์คุโบะจบการศึกษาทางด้านวิศวกรรมศาสตร์จากมหาวิทยาลัยเกียวโตมีความสนใจในด้าน Ethno-Informatics Media Study และ Historical Study on Australian Aboriginal Culture ค่ะ May I invite Professor Kubo to present information processing at the National Museum of Ethnology ขอเสียงปรบมือให้อาจารย์หน่อยนะคะ
Thank you for your introduction. It's a great honor to be here to give you my presentation. And I have to apologize, I couldn't speak Thai languages, so I like to speak in English. But my English is also very poor. Okay. Today's talk is composed of three parts. One is introduction of National Museum Ethnology. National Museum Ethnology is abbreviated in NME in English, but in Japanese, Minpaku. We like to prevail the abbreviation form, but not still yet prevail. So please remember Minpaku. Okay? And the second part, the new concept in our Minpaku database management, forum type collaboration, managing cultural resources. We are managing the cultural resources, including many objects. I explain later. And the third part is some supporting systems for integrating archives or databases. Okay. By the way, until what time I have got time? Nearly 1 hour or 1 hour? Okay, thank you. So this is a very brief introduction of Minpaku. And Minpaku has a 3 missions and has been working over nearly 40 years. And it was first established in 1974 as a research center for ethnology and cultural anthropology. And we have nearly 60 research staffs here. And the second mission is Center of Collection, Conservation of Ethnographical Materials and Information. And we are now keeping about 1 million items and relating databases. And third mission is a public exhibition. About 200,000 visitors per year. And we have exhibited over 11,000 items in space 10,000 square meters. It's very vast, and you cannot look around the gallery exhibition spaces within 1 day. I think it needs about at least 3 days. So vast. And I have been working over 30 years here, but I already retired 1.5 years before, but I have been involved in the second missions, so I like to present here. And this is a very basic concept of the ethnology or cultural anthropology, but today I have not so much time, so I'll skip this page. You can refer this handout, all right? And this is also another diagram to explain what's the research of anthropology. But I will skip also. Then, これか。Okay, so NME or MINPAC collects many, many things. We can classify into 4 categories. One is artifacts. Artifacts is a kind of the any kind of tools human beings are creating or using in ordinary life or very special occasions like ceremony or rituals. So agriculture or pastoralism or hunting or gathering or fishery or food, clothing, musical instruments, textile or metal or porcelain or religious rites. Also. Every kind of tools or utensils are belonging to these artifacts. And second category is books, periodicals, and this is artifacts are stored at artifact storage. And the second category, books and periodicals, are stored at a library. And of course, it includes printed books, journals, or microfiches or microfilms, multimedia packages, or rare books and papers. Okay. And the third category is original audiovisual materials. This is stored in audiovisual storage. MINPAC started to make videos or films by ourselves from the time of establishment, because, as you know, products of the films or videos are the collection of the copyrights. There are so many stuffs relating to the making video film products. So if we trust to other company to make some videos or films, then other company keep copyrights. Then if we buy one film, but if we try to copy the film, then the copyrights rule starts activated, and they ask us to another money. So it's a very big money to keep the films or videos. Of course, some films, optical films, may be damaged after several years. So we like to duplicate the film, but then the new copyright starts, so we have to pay some other money. So we thought at the time of the establishment to produce our original film or video by ourselves. Of course, we asked some company to make up video or films, but on the inside the contract, the copyrights are kept to MINPAC. All right? So we always keeping the copyrights of the video or films, so we can anytime duplicate or de-edit the films. That's our strategy. So we have kept many our original audiovisual materials. So it's kind of our treasure, because these films are not commercially made, so only one, very unique in the world. So we would like to keep our treasures forever. And the fourth category is ethnological research archives. This is stored in research archives. This kind of materials are mix of any kind of materials. Sometimes the researcher in MINPAC met the time of retirement. Then he tried to leave their documents, any kind of documents, in his laboratory to our library, because he cannot bring them back to his home because his wife make a claim because it's a very big volume. So many kinds of such kind of left garbages are coming to our library. So we have to make it organize and make some a catalog, and they are called ethnological research archives, including field notes or reprint of some books or many garbage-like documents the researcher collected during his field work. So yeah, of course, there may be very precious, but if we make a catalog or something, they are just a garbage. So we like to make garbage into some usable properties. Okay, so it's a very hard and boring task. Okay, and numbers of the such kind of collections are given here. So many objects we have been keeping already. And this is the example of the how to make metadata for artifacts. We are thinking artifacts were produced or used or sold, and sometimes they have of course a physical attribute, and some artifacts may be excavated and acquired by our museum and stored into our museum and kept, and sometimes they are used for secondary use or something. So the rectangle block means some kind of activity of Minpaku, and relating to our activity, there may be many kinds of attributes. So these attributes must be recorded or digitized for databases, but too many of them, and it's very big task to make such data. Curation is very important, but it's very hard. And one metadata for organizing the ethnographical materials, we adopted some kind of system called Human Relations Area Files, whose abbreviation is HRAF. And they were revised by Yale University in 1930s, and they tried to classify any kind of human activities into one category, the outline of world cultures, which is spatial temporal classification. And they gave a code for each ethnic groups or areas. And so, for example, the modern Japan and the ancient Japan has different code, all right? And another code is called OCM, Outline of Culture Materials. They try to classify any kind of human activities into digital decimal code. So this is an example of the decimal code of outline of culture materials. 3 digits code are used for expressing hierarchical classifications. For example, code 29 means the clothes are subdivided into ordinary costume, special costume, etc. So every kind of human activities are involved inside 3 digits code. So, and another code, spatial temporal code. Okay, so we try to use this graph code to any kind of materials, but it's sometimes not so well fit to the original documents or artifacts. So we are wondering, it's still we use this graph code or not, all right? And it's a very simple history of our information processing system development in Minpaku. From the establishment until mid-80s, the focus is construction of text databases, mainly bibliographic informations, and the purpose is supporting researches. And system configuration is so-called centralized general purpose mainframe computer system. We adopted the IBM machine. At that moment, the machine occupies a very big spaces, as you know. The first stage, first generation IBM machine took this whole stages. Okay, and the second period from mid-80s to mid-90s, the focus is a little bit shifted toward multimedia databases, because there becomes another new technologies for managing multimedia databases. So we try to adopt these technologies. And the purpose is still supporting researches. And the system is still a centralized mainframe. But after mid-90s to mid-2000s, the focus is shifted toward the construction of video database and disclosing information to general public. Until that time, the databases are opened only to researcher, but we try to extend the focus of the output. Okay, and purpose is extended to providing information in exhibition gallery and also outreach. And then the system configuration is dramatically changed to distributed workstations and also web-based system. Okay, and from the mid-2000 to present, the focus is collaboration with a principle of cultural anthropology. I mean, I will explain later. And based on this, the shift of the focus, we introduced the forum type database construction. I will explain later in more detail. And the purpose is shifted toward sharing and co-creation with various sectors. And within the forum type, the collaboration, target of the collaboration is not only a researcher, but also general public, and also the original site people. The basic concept of this forum type collaboration is that there is not a big differences between special researchers and the general public, all right? As you know, there are sometimes a person who knows very deep informations in some specific topic, which is wider than the researcher. So we think there may be not so big difference between researcher, special researcher, and non-specific researcher, all right? So we like to become much more open our mind to and to collaborate with any kind of people in the world. So this is the basic concept of the forum type collaboration. And the system configuration becomes distributed system on web, all right? But the NME was a precursor in the time of the establishment in around 1970s, and we introduced the newest information systems and technologies, even in Humanities Sciences Institute. This is a very, very big occasion in Japan to introduce a big IBM machine into the human science institutions, but become a little bit obsolete. When another new technologies became available after 1990s, one is a delay in a wave of standardizations. NME has developed information system by its own efforts, then missed the new wave of standardization relating to internet, especially internet. And the second is be too cautious in open digital contents. NME has to cautious to intellectual properties because the information concerning to ethnology or cultural anthropologies has many subtle problems that might not be freely open to anyone in the world. As you know, there are so many sacred objects or sacred meanings or the ritual objects or very special sense of the intellectual properties in any ethnic groups. So we are so cautious to open the data using the internet. And third point is quality information in database is not so good because some parts of the database are made by the curator or the special staffs. But about the academic parts are left to researchers, ethnological researchers. And as you know, researchers are not so open-minded and not so diligent, and sometimes very loose, and so they skipped many informations, and they forgot to fill very important information into the databases. So the quality of the databases are very not so clear, the standard quality. It's a very big, still we have this problem. And so we can make such kind of curve for our information systems development. I call it civilization curve, all right? The precursor are going slowly toward the, I mean, this axis means the technological level higher becomes higher, and some other sectors are still low level, but late comer. Sometimes, together with the big technological epoch, the late comer took the newest technology and to going jump and overtake the precursor. So this is our Minpaku. The other research institutes are taking over our level. So we think this is a very typical civilization curve. And this curve could be applicable to other phenomena, like introducing artificial satellite broadcasting systems or wireless telephone systems, all right? We used to use wired telephone systems. And within the big country, they need to make develop long line structures. And took many very big money, but after we got new technology of wireless telephoning, then the budget is not so big because just make several stations around the country, they can cover every area of the country. So sometimes the latecomer overtakes in terms of the telephoning. So this kind of curve is applicable for several kind of civilization history. Okay. And this is another second part. I like to explain what's the concept of forum type collaboration for managing cultural resources. They arise from around 1980s. Questions about ethnographical resources management. This is very specific question in cultural anthropology or ethnology. This new question comes from James Clifford and George Marcus. They pointed out the following in the book, Writing a Culture. The first question is that, is it a true assumption that the cultural resources described or collected by researcher is objective or not? Second, could the relation between the described site means the original site people, and the describing site is researcher side, be viewed with symmetry or not? The latter is sometimes dominant over the former. The latter means that describing side is sometimes dominant over described side. In political and economic and even cultural phases, reflecting the history of the ethnology or cultural anthropology, the European people are going abroad in the Great Voyage era around 15th or 16th centuries. So Holland or Spain and later France and United Kingdom making a big sea boats to explore other countries like Africa or Southeast Asia or North America or South America, and they found new other cultures than the European culture. And they tried to collect many objects and make many records, and then they make politically rule many areas. So, at the beginning of the cultural anthropology, such kind of invading power or political power of the European societies are very close connection with the anthropology or cultural ethnology. So, sometimes the researchers are going into other countries and researching other ethnic groups. Then such kind of information were used to rule or govern such areas. All right? So the ethnographical materials or cultural resources are, of course, first made by European people to underdeveloped countries. So European side is every time dominant over underdeveloped countries. And in terms of cultural phases, what's the meaning of cultural phases? Is that some many underdeveloped countries has no writing systems, as you know. Many ethnic groups has no character systems, just only a vowel or oral communications. So some people's documentations are made by European character systems. So they are stabilized in such manner. So the cultural phases are also dominated by the European people. And the third question is that are the cultural resources connected and described by the dominant side sometimes exclusively possessed by the side, not to mention cultural deprivation. European side researchers are going into other countries, other developed countries, and make many records, and going back to his home country, writing papers or writing books, and getting higher and higher in the academic ladders or social ladders, all right? But they never give back the output to the original site, original people. So the one side deprivation. So such kind of situations must be answered. The one answer seems to be renaming ethnographical materials to cultural resources. Ethnography has the meaning of ethno and graphy. Graphy means writing or written objects, all right? So, writing other countries. So, one side view, from the dominant side to dominated side. So, the term implies one direction meaning, so we like to change into cultural resources, all right? And another answer is to introduce a forum type collaboration, like a wiki archives, all right? Oh, sorry. What is the cultural resources?